you don't believe that your company is going to do well, it ain't. No one wants to follow someone who's not sure if they're going to make it. Welcome to the 7 Figure Salon Podcast with Rachel and Drew. I'm Drew.
I'm Rachel.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm a wee bit tired, to be honest with you.
Are you? I'm excited.
I'm
I like
growing a
this.
baby.
You are growing a baby.
Yep.
Baby is a grown. Went to the doctor.
Yep. Everything's healthy. I have no idea what we're having, but we will find out immediately because I
Boy.
have to know. I hope it's a girl. I don't know. I've been kind of nauseous lately, so we'll see.
Uh-huh.
That's an indication for me that it's a girl. Because for a while, I was like, I feel too good. Like, I'm really pregnant, but there's a baby in there.
There's a baby. Also, I've noticed on our YouTube channel, I keep scrunching my face. And just for the people who are like, what is he doing with his face? I'm adjusting my glasses.
I think most people are probably just listening and not watching.
I know.
Yeah.
Some people watch. And I watched. Like, what is he doing with his face? Scrunchy like that. Ugh.
It happens.
But Yawnzy
Yeah.
Yawncy is always yawning.
I see your sticker.
I did. We voted.
We did.
Early vote.
Get your votes in if you haven't voted. Now's
Yeah.
the time. Well, actually, if you're early voting, you can't vote now, but in a few days, especially once this airs, hopefully, I think we'll be launching this potentially on voting day.
We can do that?
Yeah.
We
Make
can do
sure
that?
that you vote. Every vote counts. And if you didn't register to vote, F you.
You can't complain.
Can't bitch about the result, can you?
No.
But yeah, it's super important. It's just something, if you're an American citizen, you should vote. 100%.
We got in and out.
Yeah, we did. It was fast. It was
Good
nice.
time. Larry was the man's name at the end of the where you put the paper.
He was
into.
nice. He was very
He was
nice.
great. He
Everybody else was like, I was like, ooh, it's a tough crowd in here. But that guy was
No,
really nice.
you got a compliment at the front.
Oh yeah, but the other guy, I felt like I felt like I was in trouble.
Oh, the
Because I thought it was like my turn to go to the next spot in line, and he was like, "No, ma'am, wait, it's not your turn yet." I was like, "Whoa."
they're not messing around.
No,
it's a
it
vote.
was-
I mean, they're
But that's good. That's good. Yeah.
and they're all like 100.
Years old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is great. I love old people.
Pretty old. I think we were the youngest people in that room, honestly.
We were.
I hope that younger people are getting out there and voting. I really do.
Have to.
'Cause, I mean, it's like all these older people. It's like, well, in the next 5-10 years or so, I mean, they may not be here, and the vote, just vote. Whatever you do, doesn't matter who you vote for. It's your choice, but don't waste your vote by not voting. So, today, what's on our list to talk about is leadership, and this is something that we have personally been really, really focused on, especially in the last several weeks. We have, just like pretty much everyone that we know, had some challenges this year in business. And, we've got a lot of wins in certain companies, but then we've got some losses in other companies. So it's important that, as you're navigating this economy and just the pivot in the market of like where people are shopping, where people are consuming information and products and things like that you adapt along the way. And we've certainly been doing that this whole year, but it is definitely, I would say, required more attention and more just brain power and TLC, I'd say, than ever before. I mean, really since 2020, I'd say.
Yeah, more communication, and I'll break down what we did and how we're going about fixing certain things, and hopefully it'll help you lead your teams better, because leadership is a skill, and it's something that I've always been interested in and love, and Rachel as well. It's almost this unspoken thing. I really do believe there are people that are born with that initiative to step out. However, it's the skill. You have to develop it. You have to read. You have to grow. We're going over some books this week that Rachel actually teed up for the team. Usually I'm the reader, and haven't been reading as much as I want to just because we got a baby. But I love, you give me a coffee in the morning with a book. I love it. Want to do more of it.
3 books came in the mail, and he was like looking at the box like,
I didn't
"Who
order this book."
Like, oh my God.
You've
I'm
ordered
like,
a couple
I
books.
ordered, I did.
It's because you're in your mid-30s now.
Yeah, I'm wearing my slippers. going to bed a little earlier.
Y'all go to bed early,
you
which is
know.
great. Like 9:30.
The radio is too loud most of the time. You know, yeah.
What is turn the radio down to see better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It helps me see better. Exactly.
Yeah. Like, oh, this is too
It's
loud.
like,
I can't
hold on,
see.
I can't.
Yeah. It's when you know. It's like,
Yeah, it's like,
crap.
wow, okay, all my senses are connected.
Yeah. So leadership, the workflow. Let's talk about it and give you some tactical stuff. And this is just what we do. Hopefully it helps. But what happens is in a company, what we've come to see and been blessed enough to be able to talk to a lot of other salon owners about this is you got to know exactly where you're taking it, what the goal is, what you're trying to accomplish vividly and specifically. And you have to have this inherent belief that you're going to get there. Like you have to, and entrepreneurs, the belief has got to be in the belly and the heart. If you don't believe that your company is going to do well, it ain't. So you have to fix that first. Right? So no one wants to follow someone who's not sure if they're going to make it.
Well, nobody's going to. I mean, here's the one of the biggest problems I see is that a lot of business owners are expecting, like they expect their team to care about their business just as much or more than they do, and I just don't believe that that's possible. I think you should aspire to have people on your team that love and care about your business like it would be theirs. But when that person starts caring more and doing more and like believing in your business more than you do, there's a problem. And it's a massive problem. And I see this happen a lot when, you know, like people are starting additional locations and then, you know, like obviously there's only one of you. Like you can't be, you know, if you were at one the whole time, all the time, now you've got two. It's just like parenting, you know, like you have to now disperse your time between your two kids instead of just the one that you had. And then you add a third or a fourth or a fifth or whatever. And it's like, yeah, that just continues to happen. And that time that is allotted for that particular business or location gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And so it's important that you have another person that you can put in position to basically maintain what you've created. The thing though, is what happens a lot is that person isn't like how you're spread thin across other things. And we're speaking from experience. That person, you know, although you know what they're capable of doing, you know what they're like, you believe in them, they've been around the block, you know, with you, they know what you expect. That person can also, especially as you start spreading them thin, they may not be able to spread as far as you can. And then that ends up causing leadership issues and stuff like that. And then that impacts sales and so on and so forth. So it's just kind of a downward trend that you'll start to see. And the good thing about identifying that stuff is you have an opportunity to get you and that company or you and that person and you and that team back to where you were before. Because you know you've been there before. We've done this before. We can do it again. And if there's anyone that knows how to do it, it's us because we've already done it before. You know, so those are some of the like conversations we've had recently with some of our team members relating to some of our businesses. And we have 11 LLCs, but regarding one specifically, you know, getting that one to perform at its potential. And it's like, it's not hard to do, but it's hard to do when not everyone is pushing at the same time.
In the same direction.
And I will say it's extremely difficult now more than ever to have a team, your entire team is focused, like present, not an autopilot, not scrolling distracted on their phone, not floating around the salon. No, they're just like actually present and aware of like what they're even doing and where they're spending their time. And, you know, there's so many episodes that I can think of that we've filmed this year alone, just relating to the workforce and, you know, mindset and stuff like that. A lot of it does circle back to mindset, you know, but the leadership piece, you know, it's us as owners, we have to pour into our leaders, honestly, more now than we ever have before, just to get things to be, I'd say, at the same baseline. It used to be easy to be at this baseline. It used to be easy.
One or two companies, you know.
Yeah.
So there's what happens is when you going back to the bit, it's the belief in what you're doing has to be there, and what happens is we have to have the communication. We have to identify the problems, and typically here's what happens: the leaders will come in or the owners will come in, it's easy. It's pretty easy to identify a problem. It's rare that the owner is unaware in a salon that there is a problem. They're usually the most aware that there is a problem. And the furthest that it will get is there's a meeting held and there's a discussion about the problem. Okay. And then the owner, there is some not super vivid description on what they need to do to fix the problem, and the meeting is over, and the problem doesn't really get resolved. So,
what happens there though? In that moment, the feeling of the owner, right, and the team is the owner walks away sometimes feeling like, okay, we've discussed this, we've aired it out, everyone's clear about what they need to go do.
Right.
That's typically usually the feeling, because we've exposed all the problems, and then we've talked about the solutions, and this is what I expect for everyone to do. You would think that would be enough. It's not.
I would say you're 30% of the way there at that point.
And we're like, again, always speaking from experience. Like, there's been so many times where it's like, okay, you're like, it's like you pass the baton to someone. You're like, you got it. Okay. And then you turn your back to go now move on to your next task, and of course you should definitely, part of this whole process is following up with the person that you pass the baton to, but making sure that, like, not only do you got it, but do you have questions, and asking them, what are you now going to go do? And then that, I would say that would inch them closer to the 50% mark, but then there's more.
Yeah, you identify. So step 1, belief. Step 2, locate problem, identify problem. Step 3, hold meeting about the people that are responsible in your management, or where the stylist, with the manager, whoever you need to get to first to have the discussion with the problem. If you don't have the manager, it's going to be with the stylists. If you do have manager, it's going to be with your manager. From there, you have the discussion about the problem. You come up with the fix. And you could do this a million different ways. I like to have the team help identify the problem together. That way they have ownership of the solution. And then we derive what we're going to do in that meeting. Then usually that's better than most companies, right? So, but from here, someone's got to own the action that you guys have developed together, and it needs to be assigned to an individual. And from there, the owner needs to set up a follow-up. This is step 5 now. Step 5 is you need to set up a follow-up with the individual. So I have an example. One of our managers set up a new calendar for a better meeting cadence, and I wanted to see the calendar. We developed this together, and the final is to be sent to me at the end of the day.
Today.
And I am to follow up with her at that time about the schedule. She's already done it, though. So because I set up a specific time, 4 p.m. today, to follow up with her about this, I'm going to follow up at 4 p.m. on the dot. And I expect her to have it completed. And I was crystal clear in that conversation with her about that, which she loved because I gave her clear and precise communications and instructions. And I coached her through the workflow all the way to completion. Really, I coached her about 20% of the way there, and she took it the rest of the way. But I had to tell her specifically, like, the coordinates, like, here's where we're going, here's what we need. And based off of what we had talked about in the meeting, she was crystal clear and we were on the same page. So now
You're
I'm
at
going to talk with her.
60% at this point.
Sure,
Because
yeah.
each step is like 10%. You're at step 6.
So this has been done. The cadences have been created. We added a couple meetings. We're bringing in, I'll just tell you, we're bringing in everyone to have a weekly meeting in person at the salons.
No Zoom. My camera's off. My camera's broken. My camera's not working. I'm driving.
Yeah, you got to
be on the meeting.
So the scary thing about this is your A players are going to step up. People like this. People that perform, they will enjoy it. Like, no one's pumped about a meeting. I get that, but they're going to love the clarity that comes from the meeting because it's going to help them hit their goals quicker. So,
then we're probably going to fire some people.
Probably because they're not going to want to do
I already know
it.
who they are.
And then,
But I hope they prove me wrong.
Yeah, you're gonna the cream rises to the top. So the scary thing about that is the people are not all going to comply, and then it's on you to lead that shit and get the people who don't want to be a part of what you're trying to build out, because they are the ones that are causing all the problems, and you gotta go through that, you know.
And that's when most people meaning salon owners, quit. I'm not saying you're gonna quit your salon or quit your job, but that's when you quit on the progression from 0 to 100. You stop right there, if you even get there, and you're like, this is too hard. I'm uncomfortable. I'm afraid. I'm fearful that these people are going to leave. And that's the thing that goes through your mind. And then that's the point where you're just like, call the whole thing off. Right. That's true.
Very true.
But you have to press forward. You have to go on because
your development is right there.
It is. It is. And that's in that moment. That's when you are, it's just like if you're in the middle of a really hard workout and like, you have 2 more reps to do, but you're going to quit early. It's like no one else is going to know but you. But if you just did the extra 2 and there's 2 more reps in the tank, like you guys have an extra 20% left in you to take it all the way. And most people will back down or abandon the mission. And then they wonder like, well, why doesn't my team respect me? Why does my team not take me seriously? Well, it's because every time you take everyone to a certain point and then you just walk away.
Bad leader.
That's bad leadership.
So
we've done this like in the very beginning of owning the salon. Like I didn't know shit about leadership. I was 26 years old. I was a really popular hairstylist. I was doing a bunch of clients. I was making a bunch of money, but I didn't know how to lead a team. And there's very few people on our team today that were part of our original OG team. Probably 3 people. Yeah. Everybody else is gone, and it's fucking fine.
Totally fine. And then when we had the meeting with, it was really good. There was a lot of things that needed to be cleaned up, and I led the meeting. Not pointing my finger, I took ownership of that. Like, hey, this is our fault.
I think we're all spread thin, honestly. Like we have a lot of opportunity and a lot of cool stuff going on, and cool and amazing people that we want to involve in everything that we're doing. But it does start to stretch everybody, and there any excess I did not say excess, any spare time that anybody had is being occupied by this new project or this new thing.
Yeah.
And it's hard because you want to involve all your core incredible C-suite team and everything, but like realistically, like you have to assess like what is the bandwidth. And who were we talking to? It was something. This was a few weeks ago. I forget what it was. We were talking about it. But basically, where is your team optimized currently? Like how full are they? You know what I mean? To be able to take on this new thing or this new business model.
Are they jumping from thing to thing to thing to thing?
Yeah. Because like sometimes it's like you guys, as the business owner, like that's just your norm. Like you're used to doing that. It's just like, well, this is typical Monday. I'm working on this company, working over here, working over there, putting that fire out, doing this, shuffling kids to sports, coming home,
literally putting fire out.
Yeah. Yeah. But like you are conditioning yourself. You've conditioned yourself to do that. Most times the people that are around you, although they can carry a lot and they will carry a lot because they'll compare what they're carrying to what you're carrying. And then they were like, oh, well, this isn't a lot. They'll do it, but it's not sustainable. It really isn't. Like they're not. It's hard to carry all that shit for someone else sometimes, and it will become a thing where it's like, well, no wonder this person is dropped this ball, or no wonder this person is forgetful over here, forgot this task, or this thing slipped by, or it's just bound to happen. So we're in the process right now. We have an application in with the state to open a private beauty school. And it doesn't seem like a big deal, honestly, because I'm only interested in taking about 5 to 10 students at a time. I'm not trying to open a full blown, massive school with 100 students. It does not sound like a good time.
I bet you that's where this thing goes, though.
Well, sure, of course, it totally could.
10, 20 years from now,
it totally
be a massive thing.
I don't know about 20 years.
I'm talking like
we typically, it's like, I'd say 3 maybe. But, it's awesome, and we're looking forward to it, you know what I mean? But we have to also prep and prepare the team and prep the space and the finances and everything for this thing. Because what if it is more successful than we think it's going to be? You know what I mean? Yeah. What then? Who are we going to need to pull in?
There will be more problems, and there will be leadership needed to have that be successful. So what we did at the meeting was we laid out what to the fix. We came up with it together at the team, The manager laid out, she did what we had agreed to do, was we'll get all the meeting cadences, draw it up, and then put it on a calendar. So my follow-up with her, I saw her do it early. She did it amazing. And I was like, is this on a calendar? Because if it's in notes, it's still just an idea. It needs to be on a calendar specifically. And then invites need to be sent out to everyone, and confirmations need to be done. So now we're getting 75, 80% of the way there.
Well, and you're also leaning on technology to remind and nudge people too. And then it's like what you're also trying to do is eliminate the possibility of, well, oh, I didn't know, I didn't see it, I didn't get the invite, or did you guys, like you're eliminating all these potential variables of people, not getting the memo is what you're doing.
So this, and if you think about what I'm laying out here, this is just the casing that is going to hold the conversations that need to be had, which will have its own action items and its own follow-up to actually fix the problem. Then the loop is complete from owner to employee based off of the problems, the management team, the managers meeting with the stylists not showing, like dealing with all that, then meeting with the A players and the B players, laying out the action items, and then the managers having the whereabouts in the same system process to follow up, the same commitment to time. Like, do not be late. If you are late, I mean, you can't, if your managers are late or if the owners are late, you are going to have a hard time getting the team to execute because we have violated the basic.
I'm going to take you seriously.
Yeah. And you're going to leave the door open for them to be late. And everyone is listening to this, and everyone's been late before. And it's something that you just always want to be conscious of and refining, because if your managing team is not showing up, then your team's not going to show up, and that's going to trickle down to the customers not showing up, and you set that precedent, and there's a ripple to that, So there's always places to get better and better. One of the craziest things, I did this leadership program, and it was like an advanced course, and it was my second weekend. And there's 175 people in Houston, downtown Houston. And if you ever drove into downtown Houston with construction, it's a nightmare. The Galleria area, and everyone was late. Like people coming in. By the end of the second day of this leadership meeting, every single person was in their seat after lunch, right on time. 175 people. It was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And what had this happen was they were honoring their word, what they said that they're going to do, because what they say happens. And it was crazy because you had it was the whole collective effort. It wasn't individuals. There was girls running down the hallway, clearing the girls' restrooms. There was guys going in all the restrooms, clearing the stalls, like making sure that these people got to the chair. It was incredible. I know it sounds silly, but to have 175 people on time for multiple days in a row because of how this behavior was. And that was the first time I got to see like leadership from the people leading it to like, whoa, like results, like everyone is in their freaking chair, like at the same time with construction and the Galleria in Houston at 5:00 p.m.
Well, also too, we've seen this demonstrated in our son's football team. They're going to the Super Bowl tomorrow. And yesterday was Halloween, and they had practice from 5 to 7 on Halloween. Mm-hmm. And it's like, they adjusted the time. They moved the time up from 6 to 8 to now 5 to 7. But it was that important to the team and the coach that they still honored the fact that they had practiced, because this was their last practice before the Super Bowl tomorrow. Yeah. And he still wanted to give the kids a rest day beforehand, and every single person was on time. There wasn't any last minute like, oh, well, so-and-so has trick-or-treating, or, no, everyone was there. And I remember I was talking to my mom. My mom's like, wait, what? She's like, are you kidding me? They're doing practice on Halloween? I was like, Mom, this is why they're going to the Super Bowl. Like, they're going to the Super Bowl on Saturday because they're good, and because they're dedicated to being better every single time. So yeah, that is the team that's going to the Super Bowl is in fact meeting and practicing despite it being Halloween. Who cares? They're still meeting. And I would be surprised. Honestly, I was surprised by the fact we were having practice, but I don't think that the opposing team that we were playing had practice. No. So that just shows the odds of them winning are greater.
They're allowing the circumstance to dictate their actions. Like your actions dictate the circumstance. Like,
So give the example of working out and the weather, because I think that would make a lot of sense here.
yeah. So anytime that you're looking to get something done, most people we hear excuses, right? What does that mean? It really means letting circumstance, reason, feelings dictate what you do. So if you look at, we're going to go back to the kids' sports teams, like the conversations that are being had by the parents on the fence line are about the game. They're speaking in such a way, like if you just go and listen to what they're talking about the game, they're talking about the coach, they're talking about the players, they're cheering the players on, they're booing, they're shouting, like all these things are happening in the game, but they're talking about the game. Now, the conversations that are being happen with the boys, these 9-year-old boys on the field, and obviously, and all the way up to NFL guys, but we're going to keep it kids because we see this happen all the time. Like what the coaches are saying, what the parents that are running the waters are saying. It's like water, go. They're calling plays, blue 42. They're calling plays, and what are plays? They're routes. It's movement. It's action. So they're not talking about anyone, and they're talking about what they're going to do, and then they do it, and then they meet up, they huddle up again, a meeting, and then they discuss what they're going to do, and then they do it, and then there are results from the play. Then they huddle up, then they talk about what they're going to do, and they do it, and they practice these routes, right? So what Rachel's referring to is like going to the gym. Like if you go to the gym, like I go to the gym Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I rest Thursday. I go Friday, Saturday. 95% of the time, that's what I'm doing. If I miss a Saturday, I'll go Sunday. But it doesn't matter if it's raining. It doesn't matter if it's cold. It doesn't matter if it's a beautiful day. It's just what is happening. And you meet up. What are you going to do? It goes on the calendar and you do it. The weather has nothing to do with how fit you are or your schedule. But 98% of the world will not go do something or not go on their run or go to the gym because it's raining. They're taken out by sprinkles,
So it's like, I mean, honestly, it's kind of dumb. It's like the same reason people get out of the freaking pool and sprinkling. It's like, you're in water and it's sprinkling. As long as there's no lightning, there shouldn't be a problem. But it's like if you're going to go on a run and it's raining, what could you do to still accomplish the run? You could go to the gym, you could get on the treadmill, or like you could do what Drew does and just go run in the rain.
Those are the best runs.
I would feel like a sticky mess, but
it's great.
But that's
spiritual.
That right there is like the same thing of like, okay, I need to make this change in my business. I need to, I hear this all the time, especially when we first meet clients. Their comp structure is all kinds of backwards. Like they're giving 50-60% away of top line.
Talked to 60% the other day.
Good grief. 60% away in top line revenue. And they're like, crap, what do I do? If I lower this, everyone's going to leave. I'm like, well, they might leave. Yeah. But let's not just focus on the comp structure. Let's explain and educate why. Why was it set up that way? Well, I was uneducated about it. I didn't know what to do. I was just looking over there at this other place and seeing that I only got 50 and now I'm wanting to give more. I'm like, okay, well, cool. No wonder you have a line out the door of people that want to work for you. But that's not sustainable. At the end of the day, it's your job to keep the damn doors open. It's your job. It's your job. That is the basics of your job as a salon owner is to keep your place open, keep the lights on, keep people happy, and have a nice place to work. That's the bare bones of it. Yeah,
like we'll pay you 60%. We're going to take a piece out for taxes. We're going to take a cost. We're going to be fees for.
The point is it just doesn't. It does not work. It will not work. It will not allow you to remain open. Like period. Like doesn't matter how I feel about it. Like I tell my team all the time. Like I'd love to pay you 100%. I can't. Okay, and here's why. So those are a lot of times people just want, what are they really saying in that moment? I want to make more money. How can I teach this person how to make more money?
And I want
to
feel.
That's easy. That's so easy.
Like I'm valued here.
Yeah, that's also part of it.
That's what they're saying also.
Yeah. So how can you help them make more money there? Right. It doesn't mean that your piece of the pie has to become smaller. Why not? Let's reveal to them how they can be more valuable, earn more money, And now there's more money to now share with them. Okay. So, but again, like the 0 to 100% situation where most people will kind of push it to 50 and think they're at 100 and they're done. You're not done. There's still more work to do. There's more resources to give. There's more meetings to be had. And that's the stuff that it really is the reason why a change. I've got salons that will literally, I could compare 2 salons I'm thinking of in my head right now. One of them, they both implemented the same freaking change in their business. One of them had a walkout. The other one didn't. I can tell you exactly why. I know exactly what happened.
Why?
You want me to go there?
Well, you don't have to call them out, but you can.
One of them, first of all, it wasn't I just got off a call with my business coach and I have to make this change tonight. Very reactive, impulsive, right? Went and, got keyboard happy and typed this email out to everyone and sent it.
No.
Horrible. Don't do that. This is like, no, you have to be faced with your people.
Keep it close to your chest.
Yeah, and like it's honestly not even something that I would do in a group setting. You're just asking to be freaking crucified in front of the room. Like, that's horrible. Individual meetings. How does this impact that person? Why was this change made? Why is it better for them? Why is it better for the business? Why long term is that a more healthy plan for the company? That is how that could have gone. Same situation over here, completely different action steps. This chick actually feels closer to her team. Everybody's more connected. Everybody's more focused and more honestly taking ownership over the fact that they all have to work together to grow something great. 2 completely different people.
Yeah.
At a glance, it looks like they're the same. They're even close to the same age. Same job title, same business model, same change needing to be implemented. Completely different delivery. This chick's thriving. This chick's over here drinking wine, throwing a fucking fit.
Yeah.
Sorry. But in the meeting, we didn't advise that's how you go do it. So you can learn anything, but if you go and you don't get creative on the implementation of this shit. Like, learn from other people's experiences of what works, what doesn't work. Don't go and get creative on an idea, something like that's that important. Don't go and get creative and try and just like form your own path. Like, if you have wisdom literally spelled out for you, take advantage of that. Like, smart people are smart. Take advantage of that wisdom, because it will help you avoid a lot of common, just a whole ditch full of bullshit that you're now choosing to go lay in.
It's gross.
It's like I feel bad, but then I kind of don't, because it's like you completely abandoned the plan. Like, why did you do that?
Yeah, you don't have to reinvent the wheel.
And they know it. They know it too. They're like, I should have done what you said. I'm like, well,
yeah.
Screwed
the pooch on that one.
I'm like, well, that's gross. Why would you say that?
That's also a weird saying.
Gosh. Brooks is like, wow. Like, yeah.
Well, that's just an old-timey saying,
Because you're old.
I know. You referred to laying in a ditch full of bull poop.
No, I said bullshit.
And that's the visual.
Like stuff,
you're
like
laying,
problems that you brought on yourself. If you guys are ever wondering what it's like.
Skip the cat's weird one, too.
Kill 2 birds with 1 stone is weird.
I've never seen persons kill 1 bird with 1 stone, let alone 2. It's erroneous.
Just so you guys know, this is how it is. Okay, if you ever work with your spouse, or if you if you're anything like this, and you like us, and you work with your spouse, this is it. This is how it goes every day.
Every day, she is entertained because I am fucking hilarious,
and also slightly annoying.
Maybe.
I'm also slightly annoying.
Yeah. We have things that annoy each other.
Yeah. But we learned. Like, tell them what you did to me this morning.
Oh.
God, scared the shit out of me.
I laid down. She was getting ready. And I'm not trying to scare too bad.
Yes, you are.
I didn't make any loud noises. It was a subtle.
I wish I had a visual of this.
I laid down on the ground and just poked my head out at the bathroom. So it was just the door, and then my head was poking out.
I wasn't in the bathroom. I was in like the vanity side of the bathroom, by the way.
Yeah, and I just slid on the ground, and my head was at the bottom of the door. So all she could see was
I didn't see it
ahead.
at all, actually. I went to go wash my hands because
Well, yeah,
I
should've seen.
am a germaphobe.
Uh,
And he just goes, hey. And I was like, ah! I was like, freaking jumped. And I'm like,
Just neck-
my mom told you not to scare me when I'm pregnant.
it's just the neck up.
She
from-
did
on
tell
the
you
ground.
that because you always play pranks on me. And
It's
my
just
mom's
little.
like, don't scare her when she's pregnant.
Little one.
Wait till she's in her second trimester. Then you can scare her.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So,
So we'll keep you guys updated on our changes that we're making right now in our businesses. Not all of them, but some of them. And if you've ever struggled with any of the things that we're talking about, please know you're not alone. And it doesn't matter how long you've been in business, how much you know better, you know, how experienced your people are. You may find yourself in a slight pickle sometimes. And the good news is if you look backwards and you see, wow, okay, I'm not really quite sure how we got here, but we're here. Let's together come up with a plan of how we're going to get back to where we were, even if it requires a different strategy. Because what worked 4 years ago, 5 years ago, chances are it's not going to work just the same nowadays. So getting your team involved, coming up with the grand plan, I think is going to be the best thing to do. Because if you're just the one coming up with a plan, and you think that everyone's going to get behind you and implement your plan because your idea, like they're going to
you're
have.
so smart.
Yeah, you're
Like,
not. We're
you know,
not. Like,
You got it. One of my favorite things to do is I had created this at the meeting, and I wanted the team. We updated roles and responsibilities because we have a bunch of companies, right? And it got a little convoluted, so we cleaned that up. But I also on these fixes, it wasn't me. I facilitated the space to have that meeting, sure, and that's I led that to be. However, the team and I and Rachel developed what we're going to do to move forward. It wasn't like, here's what we're going to do. I've drawn out some schematics on how we're going to fix the problem and come in like the hero and save the day. It was oftentimes being an owner, and if you're a partner, it's very selfless. You know, there's a lot that you're going to do. And anytime there's a win, it's the team's win. Anytime there's something wrong, it's your fault. Like, that's really the approach, and it sucks because you are responsible for a lot of the growth, but it ain't going to happen without your team.
yeah, you really got to get them behind you, not even behind you, with you, arm in arm with you, to go execute the plan. They have to feel like they helped create the plan. They have to fully understand it. So that's why we're extremely collaborative on a lot of these things. Like, yeah, sure, we could have come up with a plan ourselves, but we think it'd be much better for everyone at this table is super smart for all of us to come together to create it together.
Yeah.
And doodling on the glass and coming up with a plan and everyone feeling like they can speak freely, you know, that is honestly the best path. Oh my gosh, can't talk.
Best path forward.
Best path forward.
Who's got a
Yes.
list now, y'all?
I don't have a lisp. I'm just extremely under caffeinated. Thank you.
Oh.
So anyway, we at some point in the near future, we want to be able to share like a meeting outline with you guys. So we'll be uploading that resource inside the description here as we have it. But we wanted to at least bring you guys kind of a real life update and just like more of a tactical, open, vulnerable, honest conversation today around leadership and just kind of what's happening. So thank you guys for listening, and go vote, and we'll see you on the next episode.
See you later, y'all.